side of Team Liquid, something that Jensen has only played so far in the group stages of MSI. And I think that Invictus Gaming are actually happy to give that one away because they'll look to get something like the Zoe into it as well.
And Tahm Kench is up for the first time against TL. They were not able to pick this at all through play-ins. They were not able to pick this at all so far in the group stage, but they may not go to it. Sylas certainly has been rising in priority.
I mean, we already saw what happened when Caps played into the Akali. So with the Akali still up and available, I think it's smart from Team Liquid to say, well, you know what? If TheShy wants to grab this Akali, we're going to play the Sylas into it because we know it's a favorable matchup, and hopefully we can get an edge. Of course, it is, you know, TheShy's Akali, so normal matchups don't usually go the way that you would expect.
And I'm going to be honest, for your TL right here, is this just a situation, I feel like where maybe you just have to grab the Gangplank. You have to say, Impact, we see the terrifying thing that is TheShy's Akali, and we just need you to be as safe as humanly possible.
I mean, I'd honestly be really happy to see something like either Tahm Kench Ferris or Tahm Kench GP, something along those lines. I think, you know, could be very, very strong. The Kaisa, certainly a strong scaling option, would be also to kind of be a takeaway from JackeyLove, as Galio and Kaisa has been such a strong duo down there, so denying that pick from JackeyLove certainly is important, but now it does become, where is the priority put? Do you care about the Tahm Kench? Do you care more about the GP? And the answer is neither, so very interesting.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting the Kaisa Nautilus to come out, very similar to the strategy that G2 had, because what we saw is that the 2v2 is actually very strong in favor of the Kaisa. She surprisingly has a lot of damage in the early game, so as you rightly identified, it was kind of a takeaway, and I would expect something like the Varus right now to come out in favor of IG, because if they don't, then it's a role that Team Liquid can further pinch.
Yeah, definitely the case. And, you know, another thing kind of working with that synergy with Nautilus and Kaisa is Nautilus has so much CC. Every form of CC is another stack of plasma, which is getting you further to that 5 stacks, which is going to be that big burst of damage that Kaisa does have.
And we've seen how strong it can be when you're isolated, when the Acathian Rain, that Q hits, when you're the single target. Nautilus has the power to pull you away from that creep line to make sure you get that max damage in. But now as we enter the second phase, it's actually going to be the Rek'Sai locked in for Ning, and immediately we see Xmithie's champion pool targeted out.
Yeah, and I think TL could actually look to just attack some of the marksmen that are still available here for JackeyLove. The other option certainly is to kind of ban out some more of those dangerous picks along the lines of LeBlanc if you are worried about that, but something like a Varus ban I think would make a lot of sense. Draven, actually a pick here, which is a bit of a JackeyLove special. He is somewhat known for that. Draven is a very lane-dominant pick and something that you certainly could use to really crush this Kaisa in lane, especially when you have a strong early-game jungler, as well as powerful gank assist with the Galio.
I like the respect coming out from Invictus Gaming, banning both the Sejuani and the Gangplank. I think they want to try and push Xmithie onto something like the Lee Sin, so that you have that favorable matchup with the Rek'Sai into the Lee. And I think IG is actually very happy with how their draft is going because they still have a lot of flexibility with the Akali that can go both mid and top. They'll likely save it for the counter pick. And right now, Varus is still open. So there's still a lot of options for IG to go towards and a lot of power in the early game.
Yeah, so Varus certainly an option. They could go Ezreal if they want to go a little bit more defensive. I do think that, you know, the Ezreal can be pretty powerful here, can be something that allows you to stay relatively safe. Vayne, I think, can be very difficult to play into champions like Nautilus who have that point-and-click CC, so I wouldn't be expecting it as much unless they are expecting kind of some more frontline, some more tanky guys to come through. I do think Skarner is another pick that is available for Xmithie, which would be really, really strong.
It's going to lock in the Vayne.
And the Vayne is a very confident pick here. You know, there is point-and-click CC, but if you are able to stay safe, if you are able to actually, you know, be kept free in these fights, especially Blade of the Rune King plus the Rage Blade, that 2-item power spike, you are going to be shredding through everyone.
And JackeyLove is a member that has been incredibly consistent for IG recently. When we look back, JackeyLove was always a question mark, but recently has been so incredibly good. So maybe we see this Vayne just absolutely pop off, or maybe it is a liability, but now the Hecarim has been locked in. I mean, we haven't seen a Ghost picked up yet, so I'm curious to see where this is actually going to go.
So I would be very surprised if we went into the top lane, because then TheShy pretty much gets a free matchup. Akali can do very well into the Hecarim, and I think it would be a very dangerous thing to do. The problem with locking in the Kennen right now is it does suggest that the Kennen will be going into the top lane. So IG have a lot of freedom of where they want to put the Akali. They can move it out of the Sylas lane. And while it can be difficult against the Kennen because his ultimate can still hit through the Shroud, you can still land a lot of your abilities. IG now have Prime set up to kind of get whatever matchup that they want.
They busted the Neeko yesterday. Now they're going to pick up the Neeko
Vayne top,
themselves.
Neeko bot. It's
See, of course. What else would you possibly
what else
do?
could it be?
Yeah, I think the Neeko going to be the answer to Kennen here. Certainly a lot of the AP matchups are very favorable into the Kennen. A lot of people do like the Ryze. That has been banned out, so they are going to that Neeko. TheShy with counter pick, and he is not one to take lightly when he is put in that situation. You also have Ning with a much more powerful early game jungler. We saw what Jankos was able to do for G2 when he was on that Olaf against the Sejuani. I do feel it's a pretty similar situation here with the Rek'Sai into this Hecarim. Hecarim not really able to contest that Rek'Sai in the early levels. You need to farm, you need to get levels, you need to get gold and get towards that ultimate. So the early game certainly going to be terrifying for Impact up on that top side.
And we're in a situation once again where Team Liquid do have a strong 2v2 bot, but and they should in theory have a winning matchup in the mid lane, but you can't help but look at Invictus Gaming solo laners and see the rookie on Akali with the teleport this time around rather than Jensen's Ignite, and you see TheShy on Neeko. And I really want to track how they play out these matchups, because can Rookie, who is typically very lane dominant, come out in ahead in a matchup that is typically not favored towards him, and how dominant will TheShy be in the top 1v1?
Those are the questions that we have to ask. You turn off the nameplates, it's a very different story, but you never get that luxury when you play up against IG. Terrifying. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our third game of the day. Team Liquid, 2-1 overall. IG's first game. Team Liquid could pass them up in the standings, or may just get taken down as IG look to find their third win. And I already love the confidence coming in. Vedius, you pointed it out while we were loading into the game. The IG Kaisa skin for DoubleLift. Feels cheeky, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's DoubleLift style, right? You got a little style, a little pizzazz. He said he was going to smash him yesterday in an interview with Shox, so we'll see if he's able to make good on that prediction. Another thing of note certainly is that it is press the attack for Shy, so this is going to be the on-hit style that you are expecting to come out, whether it's kind of the full AD on hit with Blade of the Ruin King, Rage Blade, that sort of style, remains to be seen. I have seen some kind of
Baolan.
AP mixes.
Not standing in the bush. The whole team is stepping forward. The stun, though, not going to connect. Bit of a fumble there from Jensen. Not how you want to start the game, but neither side giving up too much.
Yeah, certainly a mistake there from Jensen. Not sure they would have really been able to get too much either way, but perhaps you could force a summoner. Either way, it is going to be that press the attack. And it is Klepto, which is an interesting choice for me from Impact, because generally you want to go more for things like Airy in these matchups to try to poke back and forth. Klepto is normally more favored when you are going up against melee matchups that you can consistently proc that off of.
So Impact clearly showing that he has the confidence to be willing to trade up against TheShy in the early laning phase. Remember that the thing about Neeko is very early on, she often has a lot of power, but early levels it can be a little bit difficult. But once these items start to come through, that's where she really becomes this devastating force, especially once the Rage Blade and Blade of the Ruin King are completed. That is when this on-hit Neeko is at its most terrifying.
Definitely is. And you can see that pull that is actually being done by Xmithie is this kind of double camp hit where you're doing, and you start with the Hunter's Talisman, so you're actually proccing that lifesteal on all of these minions at once, and it does actually speed up that clear a decent amount. It's quite a healthy clear. As you can see, both camps dead. He has not really had to use any potions until just now, and he is going to be ahead of the curve compared to Ning.
And now he's going to move into the mid lane. Rookie has to be careful here. Jensen only level 1, but just immediately throws down the Shroud. Not going to get anything else there, but Xmithie still trying for it. Will now move down to contest the Scuttle Crab. You see a bit of action on the bottom side. Level 2 advantage for IG. They won't overextend, but CoreJJ continues to try to force the trade. Third line does connect. Good bit of damage. Now they'll be able to match the level 2 back, but Ning already chasing down on Xmithie. The Ghost has come out. The Smite as well, just trying to retreat. Xmithie running for his life, trying to get the movement speed down. May not be enough. Xmithie running. It could be first blood. IG hungry for it. They will grab it. JackeyLove getting first blood. CoreJJ is next. 1-2. He's going to find another stack here. Ning will grab the kill. 2 fast kills picked up for the side of IG.
And that is disaster already here for Team Liquid. Giving over 2 kills and first blood to the Vayne this early on. Xmithie, way overconfident, tried to pull off that level 2 gank with Shroud available for Rookie. Then he's able to easily be tracked down to that bottom scuttle and punished so much here by IG.
So one of the biggest mistakes that he's making is notice how in the mid lane, there's no priority for him. It's easier for the bot lane to move up through the river, so there's almost guaranteed to be a numbers advantage in favor of Invictus Gaming, meaning that they can all collapse onto a level 2 Hecarim who's only running the Ghost, and he ends up dropping that kill. So honestly, greedy play there from Xmithie. He can't look to contest against a Rek'Sai early levels, and now IG lead with 2 very powerful early kills.
Yeah, and we talked about that power that Rek'Sai is already going to have over this Hecarim in the early stages. Now that is just going to get compounded. You can see double the camps have been taken by Ning. He has the kill and the assist to his name. He's going to be so much stronger. And this is back-to-back games where Xmithie is getting outpaced in the early levels by his opposing jungler.
And on top of that, JackeyLove got the kill. So he comes back into lane with a red buff on a Vayne at the early levels, where in these 2 versus 2 expectations are that the Kaisa Nautilus should have the advantage, but JackeyLove now in a prime position to already be a big carry.
And JackeyLove, absolutely a terrifying threat on this team. We were wondering, how good is the Vayne going to do? Is it going to be a strong point for the team? But the team, I think, very much successfully managed to find those first 2 kills, and it feels like on the back of a mistake from Xmithie, which is not at all where TL want to be in this early game.
Definitely not, but that is the respect you have to give over to IG. They're so good at punishing any sort of mistakes that do come out for their opponents. They're so quick at collapsing, so quick to be able to be moving towards these plays, and you can see already Impact losing those trades very heavily. He has less auto attack range than the Neeko, so when she lands that root, she's trading onto him with him not being able to really give anything back.
The Shape Splitter passive just does so much damage when combined with the Press the Attack as well, and Impact, while he didn't take a combat sum, will recoup some of the gold loss in terms of CS discrepancy, but it's going to have a really hard time trading effectively at any stage. Xmithie, though, grabbing some camps, trying to catch up in levels, needs time to scale up, and it's been a very difficult day for Team Liquid and Xmithie especially.
Now, one of the things about this top lane matchup is you already talked about the range a little bit, Azael, where it can be difficult for Impact to be able to land these Klepto stacks by getting those autos in. The thing about Kennen is because he's also quite short range, every time he approaches the wave, the risk of him getting rooted up is very high. And you can see if the cool thing about Neeko is when that E passes through the minions, once it reaches the end, the root duration gets increased, which means that you then have to stand there and take all these press the attack hits over and over and over again, and you just get bullied out of lane.
Yeah, Neeko is essentially just going to charge up that passive hit, that third hit, which you can charge up on minions. Then every time that is active, you throw that over. But Jensen looking for an all-in.
Maybe he can be able to get it here, but Rookie just backing off. Jensen not confident enough to go for the dive. Jensen still with the flash available. Second stack on the Akali ultimate. Dashes forward, but will not catch Rookie. And good use of the level advantage and the XP advantage to threaten here, but definitely has to be careful. Ning will move to the bottom side and is spotted out, so he can at least feel safe for now.
So you're starting to see this mid lane matchup start to swing in favor of Jensen. Outside of the early levels, Sylas really starts to win out these trades with more sustain, more consistent DPS, and once you steal away that ulti, there is a serious threat of getting an all-in kill. So Rookie showing that respect and actually falling a little bit behind Jensen early on. Only 3 CS though, but definitely better than what Cap showed yesterday.
I mean, one of the big differences though, you know, between say this game and the game we saw earlier against G2 where Cap's got the massive advantage is Jensen was taking the Ignite. You know, now here we see Rookie with a teleport, so he's playing it more defensively. And also, there's no early game jungler on the side of TL to actually punish that, right? We saw how Jankos multiple times trying to dive the turret, pushing Jensen back, expanding that lead. That is not what is happening whatsoever. So while Jensen is laning well, Rookie is going to stabilize. You know, he has hit his Vamp Scepter, he's, you know, post level 6, and he hasn't really been put down too much. So he is going to have opportunities to kind of stick around and look to fight back in this matchup.
Definitely as Xmithie is trailing in jungle. XP still only level 5, needs to get the level 6 to come out. Ning, on the other hand, has his level 6 with the Conqueror. Can be a big threat to one of these lanes, but for now, with all 3 of his lanes pressing in for push advantages here. But Rookie has to be careful here. Getting caught out of the Shroud. Still fearless, though, despite that small discrepancy.
Yeah, and Rookie has ult where Jensen cannot steal it right now. You can see that cooldown bar around Rookie's character because Jensen already took that, so he has to wait for that to cool down before he can really look for any potential all-in. You won't win that if Akali has her ult and you do not.
I completely agree with you. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Ning, no real surprise, hanging around TheShy so that he can play as aggressively as he likes to, and he's continuing to build up a pretty hefty advantage up towards the top side of the map. The one thing that we haven't really talked much about is, like, what are the main win conditions of these teams? We might not have time as Xmithie looks for it next.
Xmithie now running forward, has the ultimate available for the Hecarim. Started the devastating charge, but they do not want to push for anything else, not confidence to where Ning is.
Thought that Xmithie might use the ultimate there to perhaps force the flash out of Baolan, but Team Liquid choosing not to commit to that play. Instead, the state of the game will just return back to farming, stay relatively neutral. But I kind of want to go back to this idea of like, what are the main win conditions of both these teams? And when we looked at Invictus Gaming, something that we talked about was they have strong side laners, they have pretty good scaling, but they do also actually have a surprising amount of team fight capability because of the combination of Neeko's ultimate and the CC that it provides combined with the Galio. And when you have the amount of zone control that Akali Shroud and utility can provide, I feel like that while IG will typically look to play towards the side lanes, they have a surprising amount of mid-game team fight power that they can look to leverage.
Yeah, and so much of it just comes down to the execution, honestly, because if you're looking also over at the side of TL, oh, this Shy maybe getting caught out here.
Has
forced
to flash away.
Oh, they're going to go in on the bot lane now, too. The action not really stopping, but you know, Jensen is going to be able to steal away the Neeko ult too, and you're going to have a counter Neeko ult or perhaps a Akali ult there. You have the dive from the Hecarim as well as impact. You have a lot of ways to actually pile in on top of someone like JackeyLove and try to threaten getting a kill there. So we'll see if they're going to be able to execute, but certainly IG, if there's one team you're going to bet on to be able to really pull it off in a 5v5 and cleanly execute, it is them.
Absolutely the case. Now we see if they can find the tower dive as well. Ignite goes down immediately. They're finding the focus right in. JackeyLove going to take down DoubleLift. Ning going to go under and come back up, resetting the tower aggro beautifully. A clean dive thus far, but JackeyLove knocked back under the tower. Xmithie hunting for a kill, but no one is going down. Trading out aggro again. They're going to go back for the dive. Ning grabbing yet another kill.
IG are just way too clean on that dive. The CC chain on DoubleLift never even allowing him to get his ultimate off whatsoever. Look at all these low health bars. They're juggling the turret aggro absolutely perfectly here. One more time, Ning goes in. There is the condemn into the knockup. DoubleLift gets locked down and just burst out so quickly there. Then resetting the turret aggro. Xmithie a split second too late. If he had actually knocked back JackeyLove when the turret was still on him, he could have got a kill, but then they reset the turret aggro, they re-engage, always cognizant of who that's going to be on.
And a lot of patience was shown by IG as well, because the moment Xmithie joins the fray and uses his ultimate, not a single IG member hits him. They're all waiting for that fear duration to run off. They're just standing there waiting for everyone to be in position, and then they go for the third and final kill. So IG now lead 5-0. They have a monumental gold lead very early on into the game, and Team Liquid, one of their biggest win conditions of playing through bot, is falling apart.
Incredibly difficult early game for Team Liquid. Vedius, you highlighted. The gold difference is absolutely massive, and it's only going to get harder as these items start to come through. Bits and pieces for DoubleLift on the bottom side. JackeyLove already with the completed Blade of the Rune King. On the top side, Neeko farming comfortably and is only going to continue to threaten this Kennen.
And a lot of it really does come back to those early mistakes from Xmithie, getting caught out. First blood going to JackeyLove. Advantages there, both for Ning and the bot lane. And IG able to now snowball that to push that even further forward here. Has JackeyLove at such a strong position in this game. Blade of the Rune King already completed, as you called out, means he can not only team fight, but he can actually potentially duel pretty much anyone on the side of TL right now.
And they're using that strength in the bot lane. They have pulled off the lane swap. They put JackeyLove on the top side with Baolan. They're fighting for these turret plates. And TheShy still very strong, still very scary. Doesn't seem like an easy lane for TL to try and force a dive here. And they're just going to be forced in a situation where they trade tower plates back and forth.
And a very small thing, but a very cool thing that Rookie has been doing in this game is he prioritized lifesteal. On top of the fact that he's running fleet footwork and the teleport, basically means that he's doing as much as he can to constantly push the wave in and out-sustain the Sylas, which means that these short trades that Akali typically loses are actually going fairly even. So a lot of respect to Rookie, to how well he can turn out unfavorable matchups and still find ways to come out ahead or even.
And while Rookie is even, the top side only going to continue to get worse and worse for the side of TL. Impact now forced out of lane as the Rift Herald will crash in before the tower plates are even down. More gold into the pockets of IG.
There is currently a 2,000 gold advantage in favor of JackeyLove over his AD carry counterpart, and it's going to get even bigger.
Over the wall, Rookie is here as well. Jensen now going to run for his life, trying to use the stolen Akali out, but here comes the Rek'Sai. The snare coming in as well. The combo is flawless. CoreJJ now running for his life. Ning potentially in trouble, but JackeyLove there over the wall. Impact may be able to get one back. He does manage to get the shutdown. JackeyLove now trying to find the kill, but no mana left for him. Gonna have a hard time chasing here. The Vayne pass is going to come in clutch. Rookie there to fall if they need it, but Impact will be able to make it out. Still, big advantage to IG.
Yeah, I mean, they knocked down the first turret. They are dominating in these fights. Impact just barely getting away as the Silver Ult passive actually expired while JackeyLove was stunned up, so able to survive. DoubleLift will at least trade back a turret here, but IG are looking very, very dominant in this game, and it's going to take something special, it feels like, for TL to be able to claw this one back. They have to start looking for odd man fights where they have multiple members in one spot. They're trying to pick someone off because an even fight is basically impossible.
And the small bright side for Team Liquid after that exchange was they got the shutdown kill onto Ning, whereas IG only got a kill onto Jensen, who hadn't really had any kind of advantages. So a small bit of gold goes back into the pockets of Team Liquid. But that might change as, oh no, does he get back?
On the hunt. He sees that Invictus Gaming skin. He wants a bit of revenge. DoubleLift now running for his life. Rookie gonna use the Shroud to press forward.
Not gonna overcommit.
Back off.
Good respect being shown there by Rookie. He doesn't have the ultimate, so he chooses not to tower dive.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the key thing there. Dragon coming back up. IG likely will want to try to set up and take this. No reason not to. They're at such an advantage, even though the ocean isn't critical at this point in the game. It is good even to just kind of get the next dragon spawning, keep that rolling, see if they can dig up something like a mountain or an infernal to help extend their advantage even further. And I don't think that TL really has any opportunity to actually try to challenge for this.
We are also seeing a small pivot in the Neeko build, where she's actually heading towards what looks like a Wit's End first. And against the amount of AP damage on the side of Team Liquid, I actually quite like this because it still synergizes with her build, adding that extra on-hit magic damage.
Yeah, and anytime you're going to be in a side lane, no matter which solo laner is actually answering you, it will be magic damage. It's going to be Sylas or it's going to be this Kennen. And the Wit's End is so incredibly gold efficient as you get to the later stages of the game. You know, even at like level 10 or 11 where he is, it becomes even more gold efficient than things like an IE without even taking into consideration the on-hit lifesteal that is there. So this is a very, very effective item.
Now we see the final tower going to be going down in mid lane. Of course, one more on the bottom side for TL. Only one traded back. Maybe DoubleLift can even up the tower score, but you can see the difference in plates. 10-5. IG exerting so much of that lane pressure, taking so much control in this game.
I do think this is smart, though, from TL. There's no point in actually grouping and matching. They're trying to basically go with these guerrilla tactics where they're trading objectives on opposite sides of the map and trying to slowly claw their way in. DoubleLift will be picking up gold here. I mean, he has this Rage Blade, is going to be working towards an IE, which is a very high DPS build. But we'll see if they can actually hang on because IG are great at forcing fights.
And to be fair, Team Liquid are doing what they can to funnel gold into DoubleLift. What was a 2,000 gold difference between the two AD carries has now been made smaller into about a 1,000 gold difference. So if they can keep this up, there's still that potential win condition.
Jensen in trouble now, has to run for his life. The Ignite already going down. JackeyLove just going to grab the kill there. Fumble from Jensen in the mid lane.
Yeah, he just kind of ran it down.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest, not really much explanation for that. He kind of just walked up. I do believe that he knew JackeyLove was
bot
there.
lane.
Impact no, now the one in trouble. Galio all coming in. Impact locked up. The CC is flawless, and he's going to get taken out as well.
Clean stuff there from Invictus Gaming as they continue to punish these small missteps from the side of Team Liquid. Ning, level 10 on the Rek'Sai, 3-1 and 4. Comboed the knockup with the Galio ulti. They gave the kill over to TheShy, who, that was his first kill of the game. He wanted to feel involved as the rest of the team is snowballing across the map.
Yeah, they definitely are. And IG are just looking so dominant. This team's solo laners have been looking heads and shoulders above the rest so far this tournament, and they're continuing their dominant run, now looking for an engage.
Flash forward, now the counter engage. CoreJJ trying to find something. They pulled back. JackeyLove in the midst of the team, but it's only CoreJJ there. Now DoubleLift leaps in, that's the shutdown. That's going to be a big deal. TL, can they extend the play? Rookie though on the top side, looking for the 1v1 outplay. Going to pull back into the Shroud, just barely able to make it out on the back of that one, but he does take down Jensen.
Beautiful stuff from Rookie getting the outplay, but a bigger fact is that Team Liquid are able to at least find themselves a single kill onto JackeyLove. They get a lot more gold into the pockets of DoubleLift. They alleviate some of the pressure that IG is applying onto them, and they might even convert this into a tier 1 in mid lane.
I mean, that was a huge shutdown, but now they have Rookie TPing in here. IG want to look to punish.
Baolan on the way in as well. Ning fishing for something. CoreJJ incredibly low. Going to try to use his taxi to make it out to safety, but DoubleLift taking down Ning. Rookie in the Shroud, buying a bit of time. Immediately goes in and goes out. Stealth, trying to make it back to safety, but gives up his life. Double kill. Going over to DoubleLift.
IG getting way too aggressive there. I mean, they TP in Rookie, but he's less than half health. He has no ultimate available. And DoubleLift picking up all of these kills. All of a sudden, there is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel for TL. There's a bit of hope growing for them with DoubleLift getting all this gold.
And this is where we start to see the inconsistencies of Invictus Gaming, where they will go for almost any fight because often they believe they can just outplay their opponents. And how confident do you have to be to teleport as an Akali with no ultimate against 3 members, no Galio ulti to assist, Like, Rookie was sitting here saying, I can make this happen, but the reality is, you couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen gave one to IG. Rookie gives us one back, you know? And he's like, okay, fair is fair. You ran down, I'll run down too.
They're not Pokemon cards. You don't trade them.
Well, I mean, are you watching the game? They do, apparently. So either way, DoubleLift actually picking up Hurricane, you know, skipping the completion of the IE there, but that is a lot of attack speed. He likely has the E evolve already. And certainly IG still in very much control. They have 2 winning side lanes, but there is conceivably a way in which TL could team fight their way out of this deficit with a very strong Kaisa if they can keep him alive.
Yeah, DoubleLift doing what DoubleLift often has done for Team Liquid, and he is becoming the win condition for this team right now. What was a 2,000 gold difference is now actually a 300 gold advantage in favor of DoubleLift, so he is in full form. He can be the carry. The question is the deficit too big for the rest of his members to be able to last long enough for him to carry a team fight?
But the sheer amount of CC on this team combined with the Runaans, you can see it. You can see the dream team fight where everything comes together, where all those plasma stacks and those Runaan bolts are hitting home, where TL could find a team fight win. But they are definitely not in a comfortable situation whatsoever.
I mean, it's certainly possible, and you have some hope. But that being said, this is not the PvP Flash Wolves game where IG is just going to say, okay, let's group 5 and let's fight every single time. They have 2 incredibly fed solo laners who are winning on both sides of the map, and IG don't even have to take a single team fight, theoretically, to close out this game. They can actually play side lanes, they can play to objectives, and that is what they are falling into. They certainly realize that they have made a couple mistakes, and now they're going to spread the map. They're going to look for those advantageous fights where they can take them, because DoubleLift is the only strong member on their team. You can just avoid this guy.
And while he is strong, all he's done is equalize to JackeyLove, who is still a 4-1-2 Vayne, who's level 11, has 2 points in the ultimate, has 2 completed items. So it's not like Invictus Gaming have no ways to win out on team fights themselves. So it's still a dire situation for Team Liquid, but at least the game has not been a stomp, and they still have that potential avenue to come back into. My question then comes into what direction do Invictus Gaming now take? Because so far over the last few minutes, we've just seen them go for a lot of skirmishes, go for a lot of fights with which they've been punished. So how do they then look to try and siege? Will they look to play around the Baron? Will they just try and look for more skirmish?
I think it's just going to be 1-3-1 and then rotate your Galio to a side lane to try to look for those kills. Because certainly you can bring Rookie to a side lane, and all of a sudden if Galio shows up, well, you can actually dive someone and kill them off in a 2v1 and look for those sorts of plays. They're establishing vision, certainly, and they will look to try to control that Baron area. And they do have pretty good turn and engage with the Galio ultimate, so we'll see if they're going to be able to find that. But for TL, you want to continue to keep this game slow. You want to try to even out some of these disadvantages and hopefully slowly claw your way back in. But you have to be so careful about what fights you take.
In a difficult spot once again for Xmithie to be in. The Rek'Sai, strongest point, one of the strongest points in the game, will fall off in theory in later team fights. Xmithie could scale up, but just isn't getting a lot of resources right now. They're putting everything into DoubleLift, and it means he's going to be falling behind as we continue further in the game.
And IG are really good at stealing away your jungle camps when they're in these 1-3-1s. You'll see Shy and Rookie coming forward, taking away a camp here, taking away a camp there, and that is just going to kind of slow down Xmithie on this Hecarim quite a lot. One thing that is working for them, though, is as Jensen is getting higher and higher level, if he can reach the 16, there are some fantastic ults to steal. Notably, anytime you're playing against an on-hit Neeko, your ultimate is so much more powerful because the AP ratio on that ultimate is just absurd. It's over a 1.0 ratio, so this AP Sylas can have the potential to have that dream fight where you're in the middle and you just get the one shot with that Neeko ultimate.
And this is the thing, we're talking a lot from the perspective of Team Liquid of like that dream scenario, right? We're looking for that opportunity.
And that's because IG are dominating.
And I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, well, IG need to make this mistake again to allow IG to find this. And right now, they're just keeping the map divided. But the bright side for Team Liquid is, so far, no real pressure has been applied. While there's still good vision in favor of IG around the Baron, Team Liquid haven't been forced to face check it yet. They haven't been forced into a situation where this unfavorable fight or this small skirmish that IG want will actually happen.
I do think, though, now that JackeyLove has the QSS, that reduces the chance of him getting locked up and burst down so quickly in these fights, and they're going to try to start getting mid lane control very heavily. I do think you will start to see in the next 3 to 5 minutes, IG starting to threaten the Baron more heavily, starting to start it up, look to draw TL in, and that is where it starts to get so difficult for Team Liquid, because if you are pulled into that fight, especially without vision, you have very little chance of winning.
Yeah, and you've been talking a lot about vision, Azael, so I want to kind of draw attention to the vision that IG have set up. You can see control ward here, if I can actually click these things, control ward here, and control ward here. So they actually have full vision control over a lot of the entrances to the enemy jungle, meaning that it's getting harder and harder for Team Liquid to approach. They're slowly being suffocated out.
Yeah, with a Rage Blade, Blade of the Rune King Vayne, you can burst it down.
Coming over the wall, the Galio on the way in as well. They started to focus in on JackeyLove. DoubleLift on the backside, wants to take out the enemy.
Oh, he got him!
Do so. Xmithie there to back up, but now they need to retreat. TheShy is so incredibly gone. Pop Blossom going to find two, but Impact fires back with an ulti of his own. No AP for the on-hit. Neeko means no damage for the team.
Team Liquid are able to outplay that DoubleLift with a beautiful fight, diving past the front line there onto JackeyLove. TL could actually start up the Baron here, and if you get the Baron, hope is starting to grow for Team Liquid. They are onto it, and they are looking to claw back in this game.
And we talk so much about how Team Liquid do have this team fight. They're waiting for the dream scenario. That was it, but Rookie is here, and Rookie is ready to save this game.
No ultimate, but they have to respect, and the Shroud is there. DoubleLift stepping forward, has to be careful. Rookie does so much damage. Baolan with a taunt. Impact already taken down. Rookie gonna try to clean up the rest of TL. The flash forward, the double for Rookie. Absolutely fearless here. TL have to take a step back.
And the problem now becomes TL go for this big fight. They have overreached. They lost 2 members. It can be an easy counter Baron potentially here for IG as their members have respawned. Vayne running straight over in that direction. This may just result in an IG Baron, but here's the fight one more time and track DoubleLift, how he actually plays this out to get forward, ulting through the fight onto JackeyLove.
He doesn't actually get knocked up by the Rek'Sai or the Galio ulti. He's very patient, and he ends up diving onto the backline, but huge props needs to be given to Rookie. Once again, with no ultimate, diving into 4 members, he is able to find this outplay and stop Team Liquid from securing that Baron. And remember, earlier we said he goes in for the 1v3, he makes it fail. But this guy, he's always so confident. He believes in his ability, and he demonstrates why he's a world-class mid laner.
Yeah, and Rookie was able to take that from TL getting the Baron, but they're actually looking for a fight here.
Trying to find TheShy. Have been able to take him out. They weren't sure if it was clone. They didn't need to have.
They found TheShy. Drakos.
One clone goes out, they pick the right one, and that's all it takes. Now Team Liquid potentially set to contest here, but after we saw what Rookie did earlier, you still have to give them a lot of respect.
It's still so tough. They're very far behind in the gold. They did grab an Infernal on the back end of that, which is going to help them out a bit, but
CoreJJ managed to get Rookie. Impact now in the middle of the team, taunted up 4 now. They're buying a bit of time to knock the depth charges there. He's caught in the Shroud and he's shut down. That might be the fight that Team Liquid need.
Yeah, Team Liquid fighting back. That is now the Baron buff off both the solos. They're not going to really be able to get more than that, but that alone takes a lot of the power out of this Baron buff from IG, and Team Liquid are finding ways to stay alive in this game. I mean, IG has all the tools they need with that Baron buff and a 7K lead, you feel like, to close it out, but TL are finding engages. They're not sitting back. They're playing to win.
It feels like many jokes have been made about North America during the splitter out that they just group mid and fight. Well, you know what? That strategy is working right now because Invictus Gaming is getting bought into it. They have this 1-3-1 style, they have a Baron, and they are just grouping up and willing to fight this Team Liquid squad who have the Kennen ultimate, the Sylas ultimate that can steal things away from TheShy. They have DoubleLift who's performing out of his mind right now, and they are clawing this gold gap back.
And now Ning is the one in trouble. The ultimate's going to come in from the Galio, but not nearly a big enough threat. TheShy, though, now walking forward. They're going to look for the taunt. Can they land it up? Ning's still alive. They've taken out Xmithie. They may just look for impact, but DoubleLift has found JackeyLove once again. He's unstoppable. Can they turn the fight back? Ultimate still up and available for DoubleLift. Impact, no ult for him. And IG will just back away.
And so this time around, IG tried to find that small skirmish, but JackeyLove was out of position. And every single time IG tried to make a play in some way or fashion, they end up getting punished. And even though this team is 6,000 gold ahead, it doesn't feel like it.
No, it definitely hasn't just yet. Still, though, they are looking for the fight here. TL.
Ultimate stolen. Galio ult is up and available for Jensen. He's going to leap into the middle of the team. Baolan may just get caught up. The knockup is there. DoubleLift finding one. TheShy now has to be careful. Rookie on the backside, though. Got to keep an eye on him. Pop loss and use. Have to back away, have to respect Rookie, but TL not getting over-aggressive here. Happy with the single kill.
DoubleLift is putting the weight of North America on his back, and he is thriving under the pressure. 6-1-4, been involved in 10 of the 11 kills, and what was a terrible start for the bot lane of Team Liquid is now turning heavily in their favor.
Yeah, and here's the fight one more time as they do find Ning. They look to try to go in on him, but Impact no ultimate available. The Galio ultimate comes through from Baolan, and they do go forward onto Xmithie to get this kill, but at the same time, JackeyLove caught out on the side, and TL are utilizing all their hard engage so effectively between the Hecarim, the Nautilus, even the Sylas chains, being very, very effective.
And Rookie was nowhere to be seen. He didn't have the teleport available. He was nowhere near the fight, and it feels like the coordination from IG is starting to fall apart. The fact that we already talked about earlier that they're constantly grouping up, constantly trying to fight Team Liquid is exactly the kind of situation that Liquid want to find themselves in, and more gold is going into DoubleLift. Jensen on this Sylas is only continuing to scale up. He's now hit that level 15 mark, and Azael, you were talking about it earlier, level 16 is really where this Sylas kicks into gear.
Yeah, because not only is there the incredible Pop Blossom to actually steal, you know, that ultimate from Neeko, there's the Akali ultimate, which is very effective. There's Engage ultimates as well, and Xmithie now threatening to look forward here on a JackeyLove, but that would be a dangerous play. TL, though, want this mid lane turret.
Galio taunt's gone, and that's the key to kick things off. Baolan just gonna back off, force the flash away. Both sides can retreat. You can see the Zeke's convergence. CoreJJ knows where the team's damage is, putting everything into DoubleLift.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly hard for IG to split the map when they're trying to 1-3-1. Yeah. TL is just walking up and saying, great, we'll group 5, we will Nautilus ult, we will force you to fight, and they're not backing down from IG. DoubleLift now, 4 completed major items plus the boots. They have the potential, and it's starting to feel more real and real, as the gold lead really hasn't changed in the last 15 minutes.
The thing about these split push comps, right, especially with a Neeko who really spikes at 2 items, is that they're at their strongest when they had that early game advantage. You know, around that 20-minute mark, when they could just threaten these side lanes, is when they had so much pressure, and they needed to be moving between them. Instead, they looked for fights, they looked for skirmishes, and a lot of those skirmishes went even. This is where Team Liquid started to come back into the game, and what TL are actually doing very well is they're pushing out their side waves, grouping up mid, and then when IG are catching them, that's when they're looking to try and force a dive, force a fight, and that's when they're catching IG off guard. And if they can keep doing this, then TL can claw their way back into the game, and they can claw this gold deficit back.
And they've already started to. So many members who are absolutely out of the game now have a few items under their belt. Baron 1 minute away. You'll know better than to fight for that tier 2, saving their cooldowns for the next big fight. Baron Pit might just be that arena. Of course, sustained damage. You look at the Neeko, you look at the Vayne, IG definitely have the edge, but in a burst team fight, Team Liquid's composition is just so incredibly powerful, and you can see when DoubleLift is allowed to free roam through these team fights, when he is uncontested dealing this kind of damage, it's impossible for IG to win.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting out so much damage, and all 4 of the other members on the team also apply crowd control, which means stacks of plasma are also getting applied, adding additional passive damage coming through from this Kaisa. So that certainly is a very strong part of this, and despite the fact that JackeyLove had this great early start to the game, he has not been performing in the team fights. He has been caught out and knocked down multiple times. But that being said, IG still from this position, one well-executed team fight, and it all can be for naught from TL. They can get burst out. If DoubleLift falls early in a fight, IG likely just can end.
The reality is this game is going to come down to Rookie versus DoubleLift. Can Rookie successfully execute the soul carry on the side of Team Liquid, whereas can Team Liquid protect their carry in DoubleLift? Can they enable him to dish out the damage that he has built himself up for? Because if either one succeeds, then that will be the one that determines the team fight.
It's certainly the case, and for DoubleLift, it's been years and years of regional dominance in North America, now the winningest player in the NALCS, in now the LCS, and he has still yet to make it out of groups internationally. Last year, individually, many people started to praise his individual play, saying he had really stepped up to the table, but feeling perhaps the rest of the team wasn't up to the task. And now this year, the revamped Team Liquid are here. They have CoreJJ and Jensen. The pieces are in place for them to have a better performance, and they are trying to prove themselves on that international stage.
For TL fans out there, if they can find a win here, would be massive, not just for their host, but also for the game as a whole. Baolan gonna step forward and body tank there. JackeyLove now caught out on the side by the depth charge, but Rookie is in the midst of the fight. They have to be careful. DoubleLift trying to make it as if he do the QSS, but Rookie got the kill. That's gonna be it. It's gonna be a clean sweep for IG as they cut through the remaining members of Liquid. Jensen running for his life, but there is nothing left. JackeyLove getting the double.
And this time round, Invictus Gaming find the fight that they were looking for. We said it was going to be a battle between Rookie and DoubleLift, and unfortunately for Team Liquid, Rookie won that battle. A clean execution. 4 members are dead. Invictus Gaming are looking for the win.
Yeah, just like that, it should be over. TL hanging on for so long, but not able to stay in this. We'll see if DoubleLift can respawn.
Ning.
IG's just trying to style on them. I mean, they're diving the Nexus without the inhibitor dead.
Have to back away, but of course, with Neeko and Vayne still alive and well. It's going to be easy to tear through these towers. Impact trying to buy time, though, throws out the ultimate. CoreJJ on the way in, but it's one member at a time. Not going to be enough left for them. CoreJJ is going to die. If DoubleLift runs forward, maybe they can get something. Xmithie now stepping into the team. Rookie still alive and well. They're trying to get something. It's an exposed Nexus, but it is not going to be enough. DoubleLift forced to retreat. TheShy just continuing to try and style. They will take down Rookie, but Baolan and JackeyLove realize their time is running out and instead will turn to focus the Nexus, but turn right back to DoubleLift. They see the kills in their sights. IG styling on Team Liquid.
Yeah, the classic IGN there, going for the kills, running past the turrets to try to pick up some more. Still, a well-fought battle there by Team Liquid, but IG were in control start to finish. Their side lanes were always the ones dominating. They got some strong early advantages, and that was enough when TL made that mistake to crush them in the team fight and close it out.
And we kept thinking, maybe one more fight just like that, Liquid. One more fight just like that. Maybe they can come back into this game. But the thing that you always said in the background was, all it takes is one clean fight from IG. Every single time.
One big fight from Rookie. Like, we set up that narrative around Rookie versus DoubleLift, and he was the big carry in that last moment. And honestly, like, I feel that in the final moments, it was just Team Liquid saw an opportunity to fight, but then the execution just wasn't quite there. They flash hooked onto the Galio of all people. The threat wasn't onto the backline, and Impact was actually off in the river, so he wasn't even able to contribute. And I felt like that the coordination in that final moment wasn't quite there for Team Liquid, and Invictus Gaming, classic Invictus Gaming style, punished that the moment they see an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly really well played by Baolan. I do think he was trying to get onto the Vayne or onto a carry there with that flash hook, but Baolan steps forward, absorbs it, has the taunt channeled, and it all went bad from there. They're piling in on DoubleLift, and he just got erased.
Good things from TL to be sure, but IG at the end of the day still looking like the strongest team in the tournament. And for more on their victory, let's get a breakdown from the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Drakos. It almost slipped away from them after a very solid start for IG, but they are able to find the fight there in the late game to wrap it up, put a nice little bow on it, and snag the victory overall. For TL fans, that one's going to sting a little bit because, as Azael and the casters were mentioning there in that mid-game, the reality of maybe a comeback victory was becoming more and more real, and then it falls away.
It's when you watch those games as a fan, you obviously get really excited in the mid-game because you feel like there's a chance to come back, and then when they end up losing, you just start getting mad at the early game.
Right.
Why did we fall so far behind? You know, what happened? We could clearly match them later. If we just didn't fall that far behind, maybe it could have gone different, but I feel like we've seen these kind of games over the last 3 or 4 years so many times.
And the reality is, like, in a situation like that, you can go back, you can rewind it, you could say, like, oh, why didn't you do, like, this macro decision instead of going towards the Baron? And it's like, you just got hyped. You just won a team fight, you were behind, you were on the back foot, and suddenly you won something. Of course, you're gonna be like, Baron, 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 Baron. Everyone's been in that situation.
So instead, let's go back to that early game Deficio, as we always do, and identify where things went so wrong for TL, and they went wrong rather early in the game. Xmithie with some questionable pathing from the get-go here to give over a double kill.
This is his normal start. He wants to do an Hecarim, where he then wants to rush down to try and get the risk on bot side. But Ning reads this, so he's already on bottom side now, taking blue buff. And if you look at the bottom lane, what's important here is how level 2 comes in from IG, and they start getting control in the lane. So Xmithie can't go into the river. He doesn't have flash. And now, if he's in the river and he gets caught out, the enemy bot lane can move first to catch him. And that's exactly what happens here. So he mega gambled in the early game for a risk scuttler.
It all comes down to communication. If he had knew, or at least had eyes on the fact that these adjacent lanes aren't pushing out, he immediately can go towards his own krugs, right? Or he can go top side. There are a lot of options you have there based off of just the few information that he didn't look for.
Yeah, Rookie roamed as well, so like there was no control in his lanes around, and he just wanted risk scuttler so badly. He was praying that Ning was not gonna be there, but Ning, he was ready for it, and that's the kind of gamble where if it works as a jungler, you're like, great, I got this one, I can now go back to power farm, and we don't talk about the early game at all of a sudden. And when it then backfires, we look straight at the jungler and say, what happened there? Why did you do that? Now Hecarim is behind, it's useless. Everything has gone wrong.
And unfortunately, I've got enough tape now of kind of like this Hecarim jungle pick, especially for TL right now, and I just don't like it. I think it demands way too many resources, it demands too much gold, and you're just not getting to those power points that you would see something like a top lane Hecarim. And when you're playing a jungler that is so reliant on level 6, it just slows down the game pace so much. So I hope that TL, they kind of like go back to the books and they think, let's actually play this a bit faster, and we start to see more of those Lee Sin games or just more carry-oriented junglers, Rek'Sai included, from TL versus these scaling picks.
Because we had this this discussion earlier in Countdown regarding TL and the ability to adapt to the early game style. Now that they're not playing Flash Wolves in PvP, but they're playing G2 and IG, but you have to be more active in the early game. But we haven't seen the adaptation. It's the Sejuani, it's the Hecarim jungle. They can't do anything early against things like a Rek'Sai and Olaf that we saw earlier. So Ning had a free game early on, and he was a huge part of IG just getting so many early kills.
And frankly, I'm going to start hitting like the panic button or just like waving the white flag for TL if we don't see that adaptation. I think it's almost acceptable here because they were able to kind of skate through to this point trying to play their style. But now that you had two of the fast teams, G2 and IG, on the same day, if the next time that you face these teams and there is no adaptation, then I'm getting on Twitter, I'm hitting the caps lock, I'm like, what is happening right now? But for now, I'm like, just test it. See if your style works on the day. You played them basically back to back. But now that you know that it wasn't fast enough, maybe go back to the drawing board.
My thing ultimately is, play to your composition. And so for me, I'm fine with the Hecarim pick as long as they, it was such an early mistake and such a weird mistake to make from a jungler like Xmithie that I'm like, oh, he wouldn't make that mistake again. But the fact that he does against a team that you have faith that they could at least have early game damage, right? In the style in which they've been succeeding against so many teams in the past, that they could be able to have that at least trade. If you know on the bottom side of the map, you won't have pressure. But it's these kind of mistakes that make you second guess everything. And I'm saying don't. Especially when you have games like later today or tomorrow, that Team Liquid could just go back and say, well, we still believe in our style as long as we can brush up on these small errors.
Yeah, and the reason we focus on specific jungle right now is not just because Xmithie is not finding the impact he wants, but also because other players need his help. We can just look at the last team fight here. CoreJJ shows why late game Nautilus support can really feel bad. Because when you are engaging and you want to hit the carry flashes out, you're still going in there and you're just gonna die.
On the other side, though, we kept saying this over the course of the game. Why aren't Invictus Gaming actually playing towards their side lanes, especially when TheShy felt like he was so confident? And yeah, they win the 5v5 there because it was a bit of a mismatched engage tool there from CoreJJ. But that was also a game where you can take takeaways for kind of the how not infallible IG are. Now we've seen them in PvB and TL that they will bite, and sometimes they bite off way more than they can chew.
Luckily in this game, because of the early game, they did have a big enough advantage to lose a few fights here and there and still stay in it. Rookie had a great play around Baron as well, but I just want to quickly go back to the Xmithie Jensen point.
Yes.
Because what's happening around the mid lane is Jensen today against Caps and Rookie was not able to have the same impact we saw yesterday. So he's going to rely on his jungler a lot to assist him if they want to get something going in the mid lane, but they can't when they go with Sejuani and Hecarim. So TL needs to decide, what do we want to play in the mid-jungle setup that can actually give us an advantage instead of a disadvantage against teams like IG and G2 if they want to start beating these teams?
Yeah, well, you saw there on your screens, Rookie, while IG might not feel infallible, or rather, yes, might not feel infallible, Rookie sure as heck does not, picking up MasterCard Player of the Game for his Akali performance that time around. Really impressing so far in this tournament. For TL, started out hot with the 2-0 against the two teams below them. Just took 2 losses here on the second day of groups. So we're going to have to see how they stomach that moving forward in the group stage. After the break, though, hometown favorites Fongvu Buffalo fight for their first win in groups against Korea's SKT. We'll see you here in a few minutes.